Royal Communications Incorporated, good evening and welcome to King Newsroom 45 Minutes News. Our Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Wednesday, August 6, 2025, and I'm Shaman Dia presenting. In the headline, Office of the Ombudsman recommends dismissal of LPRC Managing Director and PA Chairman Dr. Topic and four others for violating multiple provisions of the National Code of Conduct. Liberia National Police arrest University of Liberia graduate school coordinator Kobe Emre Johnson on reported false armed robbery claims at Ecobank headquarters. Also in the news tonight, criminal court case set Thursday. We hear six Capitol building arson suspect release request from Morovia Central Prison. Away from home, Ghana's Minister of Defense and Environment has died in a military helicopter crash in the central Ashanti region, along with six other people, the government spokesperson said. Rwanda has said it will accept up to 250 migrants from the U.S. in a deal agreed with President Donald Trump's administration. These plus the news bulletin voices of those making the news at our package. We'll take a short break to be right back. Welcome back at this John Toby Johnson Andrew for the news bulletin.
The Office of the Ombudsman has recommended the names of 26 government officials to President Joseph Walker for immediate dismissal for allegedly violating multiple provisions of the Code of Conduct. Those recommended for dismissal: Unity Party Chairman Luther Tappe, who serves as National Port Authority Board Chairman; Labour Minister Councillor Kopo Kra; LPRC Managing Director Amos Square; Councillor Lezim Kanswa, Liberia Special Economic Zone. Others are Emmanuel Tule, Board Chairman, Liberia Electricity Corporation; Cornelia Crow, Deputy Minister of State; Emmanuel Kuman, Rev. Emmanuel Carr, National Fire Service, among others. According to the Office of the Ombudsman, these officials have breached Section 5.1b(c) and 5.8 of the Code of Conduct, which prohibits presidential appointees from engaging in political activities, campaigning for elected office, and using government resources for partisan purposes. Following the Ombudsman's recommendation, several civil society organizations and political pundits have begun calling on President Buhari to act swiftly and dismiss the named officials in upholding the integrity of the Code of Conduct for public officials as it has sparked intense public debate. The Code of Conduct serves as an ethical standard and professional framework for all public sector institutions, including education, health, and public service. EcoBank Liberia Limited has expressed regret over what it described as an alleged armed robbery attack at its headquarters, Sinker branch. In a statement issued Wednesday, the bank claimed that the suspect entered its private banking lodge with armed and attempted robbing the teller of the lodge. The EcoBank authorities emphasized the gravity and impact of the incident to its customers and the public, noting that they are working with local law enforcement agencies to ensure a thorough and comprehensive investigation into the matter. The bank, in a release, acknowledged the intensity of the situation, but added it has taken immediate steps to enhance security at its branches across the country. Meanwhile, King's FM independent investigation has established that Kobe Emmer Johnson, the man earlier arrested at Echo Bank 11th Street branch for alleged armed robbery, was arrested on false alarm. Earlier on Wednesday, the Liberia National Police confirmed the arrest of Johnson, stating that he was taken into custody following accusation that he attempted to rob Echo Bank head office on 11th Street. Mr. Johnson, who serves as University of Liberia Graduating School Coordinator, is said to have been in a relationship with a female employee at Echo Bank branch, but had been facing issues in the relationship, prompting him to go at Echo Bank to confront the lady. Our sources, including some workers of the bank, admitted to the romantic relationship between Johnson and the lady, who alarmed that he attempted robbing the bank. Kings FM News also established that the woman was separately involved in an extramarital affair, which the suspect had reportedly warned her to end due to intimate nature of their own relationship. They added that tension reportedly escalated after the woman began posting photos on social media or Facebook with another man despite her relationship. The investigation further established that the suspect, out of frustration, went to the bank to confront the woman and allegedly released tear gas in her direction. The sources maintain that the lady reportedly activated the bank's emergency alarm system, prompting an immediate response from the bank's security, terming it as an attempted armed robbery. However, the Liberia National Police has not released additional information regarding the incident. Criminal Court A announced Thursday, August 7th, to hear six Capitol building suspects' request to release them from Morovia Central Prison on bail. Judge Roosevelt Willie noticed to the parties' lawyers, according to our judicial correspondent, was triggered by Muscarado County Chief Prosecutor Chancellor Richard Scott's application challenging the legal sufficiency of the defendant's bond offer to the court and later claimed that they are flight breaks. Judge Wallace noticed further demands that the lawyers appear on Thursday, August 7th at 3 p.m. for the hearing. Our judicial correspondent said, though Judge Wallace approved the six defendants' bond, but prosecuting lawyers claim that the bond is insufficient. The defendants are flight risk that Judge Wallace placing a stop on the defendant's release until the matter can be heard and determined. They are Christine Kofa, John Yanti, Hewitt Susse, Thomas Isaac, Stephen Braw, and Thomas Etheridge. The political leader of the opposition movement for progressive change, Simeon Freeman, has criticized the government of Liberia of alleged mismanagement of the country resources. Simeon Freeman called on the government to invest in the country's local economy, urging a reform to strengthen local industry and infrastructure. Speaking on the Liberia traffic management recent issue, the MPC political leader criticized the government's handling of license plates and driver's license to a foreign company as a waste of money. Mr. Freeman emphasized that Liberia's challenges are not only financial but structural, saying the government's lack of knowledge to create opportunities for its people. He called for long-term activities, including the development of the self-sufficient rice sector, and urged a move away from political patronage. Senior Premier also proposed establishing what he termed a stock market boost private sector investment in the country, citing examples from Ghana and Nigeria. UNICEF Liberia, in partnership with the Ministry of Health, is initiating planning with the House of Representatives Legislative Committee on Health to establish a primary health legislative caucus. The initiative, if approved, would strengthen Liberia's primary health programs. According to a statement released by UNICEF Liberia Wednesday, the plan seeks to appoint a national community health champion to strengthen domestic funding and political will for the country's health initiative. The release also noted that the efforts will directly advance the Moravia Call to Action, which is aimed at mobilizing and empowering community health workers to deliver essential community-based primary health care for the reduction of maternal and neonatal mortality rates in Liberia. UNICEF Liberia emphasized Liberia's primary health program, adding that it is a lifeline for thousands of families in remote and undeserved areas where access to health care remains a daily struggle. Former representative candidate of Monserrado District 6 Achisano has criticized the Barca-led government for what he termed persistent bad governance and corrupt practices. Speaking in an interview Wednesday, Sano said he is frustrated with the state of governance, frowning at what he described as perpetual corruption under the Unity Party led government. According to Achisano, to ensure real change in Liberia, Liberians, beginning with government officials, must reject corruption and the idea that votes must be bought to gain political power. The former district system representative candidate also called on the government to crack down on drug trafficking, accusing some public officials of allowing their personal vehicles to be used to smuggle drugs into the country. Ahead of the August 7 national campaign against harmful drugs in Liberia, a disadvantaged youth identified as Jion Nagbe said he is frustrated about the huge amounts of money he normally spends on illegal drugs on a daily basis. According to him, he spent nearly 30,000 Liberian dollars monthly on kush, tramadol, and cocaine, something he said he'd been doing for several years without positive impact on his life. He called on the government to put in stringent measures that will eradicate access to illegal drugs to save the thousands of Liberians being affected daily. The disadvantaged youth noted that the government's stringent measures on illegal usage will reduce criminals across the country. He expressed regret being called Zogo, adding that he currently lacks family support and affiliation due to his usage of harmful substances. And about 12 prosecuting lawyers are reportedly planning to boycott the pending August term of court due to the failure of the Ministry of Justice to upgrade their salaries since becoming counsel at law at the Supreme Court bar. The aggrieved prosecutors Thursday said since becoming counselors in 2022, they are still receiving their attorney at law salary of 600 to 700 United States dollars from the ministry, which according to them goes contrary to the policy of the ministry. The lawyers, according to our judicial correspondent, claim that the policy requires that counselor at law of the Supreme Court bar make nothing less than 2,500 United States dollars. Aggrieved prosecutors maintain that the policy needs to be enforced. As such, they remain unbending in connection to the pending boycott for the August term of court until the matter is addressed.
I'm Andrew with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we're following tonight. Office of the Ombudsman recommends dismissal of LPROC Managing Director, NPA Board Chairman Luther Tape, and 24 others for violating multiple provisions of the National Code of Conduct. Liberia National Police arrest University of Liberia Graduate School coordinator Phoebe Emily Johnson on reported false armed robbery claims at Bank headquarters. Criminal Court case set Thursday to hear six Capitol building arson suspects release request from Morovia Central Prison. Away from home, Ghana's Minister of Defense and Environment have died in a military helicopter crash in the Central Ashanti region, along with six other people, the government spokesperson says. Rwanda has said it will accept up to 250 migrants from the U.S. in a deal agreed with President Donald Trump's administration. We take a break to feedback the voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back, and thanks for being there. The political leader of the opposition movement for progressive change, Simon Freeman, has criticized the government of Liberia for alleged mismanagement of the country resources. Beginning OKF on Wednesday, Freeman called on the government to invest in the country's local economy, urging a reform to strengthen local industry and infrastructure.
The approach those days was that, and which is the approach in places like Nigeria today, the Nigerians eat their own money. So let's take the power sector. Power sector. Most of the players in the power sector in Nigeria are indigenous Nigerians. Let's take the mobile sector. Global.com, which is owned by a Nigerian, one of the biggest mobile phone companies. In Liberia, if you just look at the main street, see almost 80%, 85% of all buildings are foreign. Unfortunately, less than 5,000 letters in the whole. And that's the reason why we reference the whole this whole license plate thing. You don't need any school for that. So if somebody argues and says it's an issue of money, the government of Liberia, through the central bank of Liberia, can provide a short-term line of credit where an LC can be opened. India is the biggest importer of rice globally. We can do that and we can have a few Liberians and then we can transition because the goal cannot be just to import rice. We transition to a local rice infrastructure. Why can we start that? What makes it so difficult? But every time people give excuses, but when you look at the quantity of money spent on running the government itself, you are like, but this money can be spent to do this. So what is troubling us is not that we don't have the money, but the whole concept of mismanagement. That's what's troubling. And I think the sooner we tackle that, the better. Because you see, we will not have long-term peace, we will not have long-term stability if we don't provide opportunities for our people long-term. If we do nothing about it, over time, this thing is going to affect the long-term stability of the country. That's why we need to sit down instead of the only thing our political leaders try to do, use connection to appoint this other person as assistant minister, a deputy minister, and that's the thing. Let's move away from that and try to create real structures long term. Look, any school in license plate and driver's license print, all you need are the machine. All you need are the people that know how to operate those machines, the technical expertise. If the governor of Liberia said, look, we're going to take 3 Liberians that supported the United Party and we're going to give them this driver's license arrangement, they will be printing driver's license. We'll take another 3 persons that are Liberians that supported the United Party. Instead of giving you minister, deputy minister job, we're going to give you, create a company, we're going to provide the funding. That 40 million thing I heard, I wanted to slap, when I read the paper, I just want to slap the people.
Political leader of the movement for progressive change, senior Freeman. The Liberian prophetess, Mother Mary Johnson, said she had a revelation where Liberia appeared very black and surrounded by extreme fire. Students that there is need for citizens to fast and pray against danger. According to her ongoing dangers, the serial killings and disappearances in political power struggles being experienced across the country are not good signs.
The last this is kind of first time in a way. I've been having a lot of really this nation for this nation. We have been fasting free in the world. We went to the first Baptist church and we have fast and prayer. We entered to the executive pavilion. We fight in the world. And God was going to help this nation. So I've been the servant of God for 37 years almost. It's not my first time praying for the nation, but I want the whole nation to be a part of the fast and prayers who should be on next week, Wednesday, we do for 3 days. I'm asking every one of you people to take part. We need to pray for this nation. Out of Revelation, where I saw the country, the whole country, black, black. The second one, I saw the whole place was on fire, the country was on fire. Our country was on fire. But before this happened, I saw that they start ambush in this nation. And man, I know the poor started shooting. Then one of the men thing they did, first thing is someone they tell you to go and say this thing, you don't say it. Now you never told the poor this news. This thing I about to happen. And you see why I wish. So I'm telling my fellow Liberians, I want you to join me in prayers. I want us to pray for this nation. This nation needs prayer. This nation needs your attention. Fast and prayer breaks yokes. And the God Almighty will have mercy upon us. We need prayers. Just the other day again, lying in my living room, I saw everybody leaving their homes and just getting out of their home. And I started talking, I said, oh, we didn't lock the door. I started telling my children. And we all started running over our homes. God see by his word. The message is to ask the whole nation to go through this fast. And I'm asking the leader of this nation also. Yeah. Then after we did this before the time of first time, and when we did this country, and I want us to continue is the prayer, the fact of God asking the nation, the people of this nation, that they should join the fast and prayer for the 3 days, which will be next week Wednesday. So that we always fast and pray and ask God for mercy.
Prophetess Mary Johnson. Yes, speaking. The student unification party of the University of Nigeria has vowed to oppose the arrest of Lindsay President James Washington and Secretary General Darius Square in connection to full U.S. student refusal to appeal in court for criminal prosecution. Speaking to reporters, Nigeria main campus President Sylvester Wheeler said any attempt by the Labor National Police would be met by serious resistance by the student community. According to him, the action by the government is counterproductive to students' rights and others.
One of his sisters from the downtrodden marginalized community, the senior patriarch of the homeland, Keke Rala and street villains, the post worker who are minimum wage can barely take them home. We bring you revolutionary greetings from the epicenter of the violence unification party. First, there is racing tale of disappointment in our quarter of Liberia over the shoplifting of corruption lawyer Ghana Limited for 20 years. Risk management contract in the cities of Monrovia and Greenville. The violence unification party as the lone voice of the masses strictly opposes and condemns Zoom lawyer shoplifter for a bid that is expected to be transformed the country waste management sector for the future. Some lawyer in the first place have a dark records of corruption and pay services level both in Ghana and Liberia. How possible this corrupt company that qualify to enter on the ongoing bid to determine the fate of our country in waste management? There is complete contradiction and we demand that Zoom lawyer be removed from the building process with immediate effect. Some views, some lawyer present are a threat to the integrity of the country as it was the existence of the Liberian record.
So, Chairman Sylvester Wheeler, former representative candidate of Monserrado District 16, Archie Sonnen, has strongly criticized the Bakale government for what he termed persistent bad governance and corrupt practices. During an interview Wednesday, Sonnen said he is frustrated with the state of governance, finding at what he described as perpetual corruption on a PNP party alliance government.
When the drug law is not available, those who bring in drugs in this country after they are found guilty, their property should be confiscated and be utilized to to all those who are consuming taking or consumption of the drugs and they're asking law of us and all that. But here is it. Not that drugs cannot be for, drugs can be for. People in the states who are trying to fight drugs, they are still compromising. And that is why it is prudent that corruption to be non visible. However, it's still better than any other previous administration because there is a government that has seen drug dealer now in jail in sentences for 20 years. I said to be corrected. Even the current representative of Lima County son is being sentenced to state control. Even though we go to election, sometimes you let it look like different because for me, I tell people that as well of fighting corruption, I can't create an avenue to corrupt the system. I will not truck, I will not buy vote, I will not pay money to a party to get a seat. I will be the architect of change. If I say I want to be an architect of this concept of change, I should not be the one to sponsor it. And the electors here, you either buy a party seat, are you popular, you truck, or you purchase your vote. Then it means that rather than fighting against corruption, I'm supporting corruption in my interest. I can do that. So let me be the victim of my own policy that I'm fighting against. I'm a victim of patriotism. What have changed in my country is height of survivability. But that thing to stop the struggle. And when he became president, he now robbed his people. That's a legacy. So when you see proposing a drug law in the past, even though we have not reached there, also propose personally a petroleum regulatory authority that is now on fully is now on 18 feet, even though people don't face no who stay for this food. Also propose that
Is actually former Representative Kennedy Mosrado, District 16. Reminder, you listen to King's News 145 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. So, following tonight, Office of the Ombudsman recommends dismissal of Health Service Managing Director, NPA Board Chairman Luto Sape, and 24 others for violating multiple provisions of the National Code of Conduct. Liberia National Police arrest University of Liberia Graduate School coordinator Phoebe Emery Johnson on the fourth false armed robbery thing at EcoBank headquarters. Criminal court case set Thursday to hear six Capitol building ransom suspects release requests from Mobile Central Prison. Away from home, Ghana's Ministers of Defense and Environment have died in a military helicopter crash in the central Ashanti region, along with six other people, the government spokesperson said. Rwanda said it has it will accept up to 250 migrants from the U.S. in a deal with President Trump's administration. A break to be back for more voices. Welcome back, and thanks for being the head of the August 7 national campaign against harmful drugs in Liberia. A disadvantaged youth, identified as Junior Nangbe, says he is frustrated about huge amounts of money he normally spent on illegal drugs on a monthly basis. According to him, he spent nearly 30,000 Liberian dollars monthly on coke and other illegal substances, something he said he has been doing for several years without positive impact on his life. However, calling the government reporting stringent measures that will eradicate access to illegal drugs to save the thousands of Liberians being affected daily.
Empower them to become train all those areas also to come back and become as a team meeting and learn the CPS level that we are now. We are the professionals to lead different things with different NGOs and community in the registration that they use and people come on the level. As part of that, I will be part of that. We use different skills in developing. Most of them have issue of commerce organizations with the two open schools, mediation, another share values the same thing with us. Being back at us is the same thing with me. Being back at pass it on and go to that community to do that. get there and monitor what the kids are in the future. And that getting we are becoming bigger and faster as well as basically, like I said, someone who want to show you. Some people here, they are here because they want one, two, and another interaction, and I can say, so if there's three persons who are here, and I can say, and the two persons who are not in the connection, and basically that's what next week, I think what we're looking at, they want the first thing to do is look at the information.
Economic Community of West African State Consultant on Migration, Aki Yemen, has called for improved institutional preparedness, enhanced data accuracy, and strategic policy planning to ensure the country fully benefits from regional migration framework. Aki Yemen made the remarks on Tuesday during a working visit to the Liberia Broadcasting System as part of a broader ECOWAS mission aimed at assessing member states' readiness for the next phase of the free movement of persons immigration program. According to him, the initiative launched in 2014 for the European Union support aims to facilitate intra-regional mobility and harmonize migration governance across West Africa.
I'm on a special mission with the ECOWAS Commission from the head office. Um, the whole mission is to look into an European intervention that started in 2014. I led that process, the research component of it in 2014, that took me around all the ECOWAS countries. I was also here in Liberia for like a week or 2 weeks to do that assessment. So based on that assessment, there were interventions that were proposed across all ECOWAS countries. Now that has ended, and they want to start what is called the FMM2. FMM is free movement of persons and migrants across ECOWAS. So to start the FMM2, there is need therefore to see how countries have fared between that FMM1 before they start this FMM. So Liberia is one of those countries I choose to visit, and what I try to do is to look into stakeholders that are very critical in discussing issues around migration, particularly on the authenticity of the migration data. So I find this office as one of those very key offices, and discussing with Honorable Jim has also broadened my understanding and also my clear picture about that area and what's happening concerning migration data. But I think this office is so critical, and I think this office needs to play more critical roles in advancing accurate information on migration network. So the idea is now discussing with all the stakeholders to see exactly how Liberia has fared, look into some of those issues, and also I will then write a comprehensive report across this ECOWAS country, and then based on that, like my recommendation, I'm going to submit that to the ECOWAS Commission sometimes early September. But by next week, I'll be in Abuja again to look at the ECOWAS to share some of those things, but I'm also discussing more with them. Have you?
Dr. Aki Yemen is Economic Community of West African State Consultant on Migration. The United States African Command has begun a three-day conference with representatives of the armed forces of West and North African countries on strengthening their logistics and shared knowledge on security issues in the African continent. Speaking at the opening of the conference, Minister of National Defense of Liberia, George, described the gathering as a commitment geared towards strengthening regional security, enhanced cooperation, and optimize logistics capability across the armed forces in the region.
This gathering underscores our collective commitment to strengthening regional security, enhancing interoperability, and optimizing logistic capabilities across our armed forces. In an era of evolving security challenges, from transnational threats to humanitarian crisis, logistics remains the backbone of effective military operations. Liberia as a nation has experienced the transformation power of peacekeeping and security sector reform. Deeply appreciate the value of partnership, preparedness, and shared expertise. presence of our ECOWAS brothers and sisters alongside our valued partners from AFRICOM reaffirms our shared vision of a stable, secure, and prosperous West Africa. The conference presents an invaluable opportunity to enhance the practice in defense logistics and supply chain management, foster collaborations to address common security challenges, enhance readiness through innovation and capacity building, and to strengthen the bonds of solidarity amongst ECOWAS militaries. To our African partners, we extend our gratitude for your sustained commitment to Africa's security architecture. Your support in training, resources mobilization, and technical assistance continues to make a tangible difference. So, our dedication.
Also speaking, U.S. Embassy Social Defense Joseph Zajonin said the gathering represents a critical milestone in their shared commitment to fostering regional security, enhance stability, and building the foundation for sustainable economic growth across West Africa. He expressed the U.S. government's support to the initiative, noting that it aligned closely with the Trump administration objective of strengthening security partnership with African nations to regional coordination and defense operations.
This gathering represents a critical milestone in our shared commitment to fostering regional stability, enhancing security, and building the foundations for sustainable economic growth across West Africa. On behalf of the United States State Department, I want to express our unwavering support for this initiative, which aligns closely with our current administration's objectives of strengthening our security partnerships with African nations through regional coordination and defense interoperability. We are enthusiastic to have several U.S. industry leaders in attendance to promote these goals through offering a range of top quality equipment and services. U.S.-Africa commercial diplomacy is, more than ever, a vital component of U.S. foreign policy, and strengthening it will go a long way towards advancing mutual prosperity and shared security. We want to be your partners of choice, and to do so, we must be present and continue to offer the best. As I prepared for this conference over the weekend, I quickly realized that this conference is more than just a meeting of minds. It's a platform for action. The stakes are high. The Gulf of Guinea.
At the same time, Deputy Chief of United States African Command Ambassador Robert Scout noted that the 2025 West Africa Logistics Conference represents a significant step in approaching logistic and security cooperation in West Africa and the rest of the African continent.
This isn't just another conference. It's a pivotal moment. It represents a significant step forward in how we, as a collective, as a group, approach logistics and security cooperation in West Africa and across the continent of Africa. So for US AFRICOM, WALK 2025 marks a critical milestone. As we prepare to transition in 2026 from a regionally focused logistics approach to a continent-wide initiative, this conference will set the stage for that growth. For the past several years, we collectively and AFRICOM have been rigorously testing and refining our Theater Logistics Readiness Program, or TLRP. And WALK serves as a vital feedback loop in that iterative process. So we all learn together, and what you provide us, we incorporate.
For his part, Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General Davison Feller, called for collective effort in combating terrorism, terming it as a common enemy in the world. The AFL Chief of Staff added that no country can fight terrorism. As such, Liberia will work with its international partners in protecting Liberia territorial waters, which is being exploited on a daily basis.
Today's conference would not have been a better time than what we have it today. We understand that sometimes in Cote d'Ivoire, we had the first one, but that was a forum. It gravitated to Cameroon. Then we had another big one in Cameroon. Today, we have it in Liberia. And the good thing about it, having this conference in Liberia, like I said, it brings about a lot to the table. It means that Liberia has returned to peace. Liberia has returned to sanity. And that's why before you host such a conference, there must be a thorough vetting. Why this conference? Very important. You will agree with me that the common enemies that all of us face today in the world is terrorism. And because of that, no one country can fight terrorism. It has to be togetherness. There must be a synergy of effort. That's why this conference is directed to us. Our partners from the United States, this is not just about logistic conference. They have come in many ways. We talk about our maritime domain. Our blue economy has been exploited. So because of that, our partners again, the great United States of America, have organized a lot of exercises like Obagami Express, Sea Lion. When you take it to the other side of a communication, African endeavors. When you take it to the medical side, a lot of medical meetings being arranged all over the world, sponsored by our United States partners. We are happy to have you here.
Away from home, Ghana's ministers of defense and environment have died in a military helicopter crash in the central Ashanti region, along with 6 people, a government official said. Defense Minister Edwin Omani Balmid and Environment, Science and Technology Minister Ibrahim Muntala Mohammed, 50, were killed in a crash which Chief of Staff Julius Dibra described as a national tragedy. Earlier, the Ghanaian Armed Forces said the aircraft, which was carrying 3 crew and 5 passengers, had gone off the radar. It had taken off from the capital, Accra, at 9:12 local time and was heading to the town of Obosi for an event to tackle illegal mining. And Rwanda has said it will accept up to 250 migrants from the U.S. in a deal agreed with President Donald Trump's administration. Under the scheme, the deportees will be given workforce training, health care, and accommodation to jumpstart their lives in Rwanda. Government spokesperson Yolandi Mankolo confirmed to the BBC. The condition of the agreement was that Rwanda will have the ability to approve each individual proposed for resettlement. The White House has not commented on the deal directly, but to the BBC it was constantly talking to countries willing to assist it in removing the illegal aliens that ex-President Joe Biden had allowed to infiltrate the U.S. Well, on that note, that's how we come to the end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. Office of the Ombudsman recommends dismissal of LPRC Managing Director and PA Board Chairman Loto Tape and 24 others for violating multiple provisions of the National Code of Conduct. Liberia National Police arrest University of Liberia Graduate School Coordinator Phoebe Emery Johnson on reported false and robbery claims at EcoBank headquarters. He also heard in the news and Criminal Code A sets Thursday to hear 6 Capitol building arson suspects release requests from Morovia Central Prison. Away from home, Ghana's Ministers of Defense and Environment have died in a military helicopter crash in the central Ashanti region, along with 6 other people, a government spokesperson says. Rwanda has said it will accept up to 250 migrants from the U.S. in a deal agreed with President Donald Trump's administration. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Sam Andrews brought you the news bulletin. Frank Diallo Swen sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Sherman Dale. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.